Hi everyone, welcome to our online tutorial for Thursday the 30th of March 2016. The earth laughs and flowers. What a wonderful quote to start our online learning. So what do we have in this online tutorial for you? Well, there are 4 key learning themes. The first is a guided meditation. The second is looking at definitions and exploring what eco-pedagogies and biophilia means. The third theme is art and nature. I want you to consider the links and connections to you. How does art and nature connect to you? Beyond that, I want you to explore and think about how art and nature connects from you to others. That's interesting. And we have some creative ways for you to explore that and test that and perhaps come up with your own hypothesis on what that means for you and for those around you, be they your students, your families, your peers, and the community as a whole. The fourth theme is art and nature in the classroom. Here I want you to explore and to examine and to question what the classroom can hold for you in terms of art and nature. What will your classroom look like? What in art and nature will influence the way you teach, the way you create your classroom, and how you will show or reflect art and nature to those whom you will teach. So here is our guided meditation. There's a number of preparation things that you need to do. So before you click on the link below, make yourself comfortable, create a safe space to relax and wander. While you're doing this meditation, please follow the instructions. It's important for you to follow these instructions to ensure that you become, relaxed, but more importantly, you become aware of your breathing, aware of your body, aware of your capacity to imagine and to explore. And I want you to question. So let's look at definitions. So what do we define eco-pedagogies as? I want you to write a definition and use it in a sentence. Feel free to write your heart out. So, if it starts with pulling up your computer and Googling the word eco-pedagogies, so be it. If that gives you the understanding, so be it. Then write a definition as you understand it. Use that definition in a sentence and then keep going, keep writing, keep creating, using your thoughts and your ideas. The second is biophilia. So what does biophilia mean to me? And the picture to the right of us, biophilia, love of life or living systems, is a very, very simple definition that reminds us that biophilia is reminding us about nature. And those who have a biophilia perspective of nature actually love nature. They have an intimate relationship with nature. So I want you to write a definition, use it in a sentence, think, write, and share. So think, write, and share. Think, write about it, and share it using an example, and so on. So, when I say the so on, the sky's the limit. So I want you to explore that, to think about it. One of the things that we don't often do enough is question. So I want you to explore and question and do whatever you need to do to find out what this means. So the next time I see you, when I say to you, what does pedagogies mean to you? You can say, wow, this is what I reckon. And that is about learning. That is you drawing on your innermost ideas and thoughts and interpreting those into a way that you can actually create. So let's do it. Definitions. So art and nature, the links and connections to me. So when we think about art and nature and ourselves, what do we think about? So I want you to create something that portrays the link between art, nature, and you. It may be a poem or a story, a picture, or a doodle. It might be a picture you have on your camera. It might be just, looking out the window and taking a photo and saying, that is nature to me. Whatever it is, write about it, draw it, doodle it, but start to create your narrative. Then I want you to ask the question, art and nature and others. I want you to create something that portrays the link between art, nature, and others. You and others. So, poem, story, picture, doodle, haku, whatever you can do. Let's get creative. And I'm giving you the opportunity to go bigger than big, as Dr. Seuss would say. Art and nature in the classroom. So let's go back to the guided meditation for the moment and think about what stood out for you in that activity. And we're going to call this a point of reference. So it might be that, you started to listen to the rhythm of your body. It may be that you started to listen to the sounds in nature, and that those sounds started to help you create pictures in your mind. So I want you to start talking about that and exploring that, analyzing it so that you can say, wow, if that's how I think, how would others in my classroom think about nature? What would they think about if we were to lie them all down on mats and cushions perhaps in the reading area and went through a very, very simple guided meditation with them? Perhaps imagining their flowers, imagining they're building a big, huge, or maybe a small tree house. All sorts of wonderful imaginations. So that point of reference, just in that little narrative there, I was able to bring to the fore a number of ideas and link those ideas to nature, and from nature created something that was artistic and creative. Now head outside and gather nature bits and pieces to help you create a picture that reflects that point of reference in the guided meditation. So there we go. For me, I'm probably thinking a flower. So I would go outside, look around, maybe pick up some leaves and maybe even pick a flower. Bring that in, sit down and start to think about how I could create something beautiful out of those bits and pieces. So, let your imagination run wild. Don't be afraid to explore. One of the things that we've talked about constantly is what Ken Robinson reminds us. He says, we are so conditioned to do things right. But in art, we don't have to be right. We just have to explore. We just have to feel good. We just have to learn. And when we learn to feel good about ourselves and our surroundings and everything that we're connected to, then the magic starts. We open our hearts and we open our minds to explore. And through that exploration, we begin to create. So if we think back to the lecture where we talked about going to that space, that creative space, going to creative country, how many of you have had the opportunity to go into creative country? Perhaps you haven't even tried it, let alone felt it. This tutorial and all the small little activities that are here for you gives you the opportunity to go into creative country, to explore and to look around you and find all those tangible bits and pieces and use that to create something wonderful. If we can allow ourselves to create like that, imagine how we are going to be in terms of mentors for those we educate. If they see that we can open ourselves up to creativity, it means that they are going to be just as open as you are. So don't forget, that's important. So those are the 4 activities that have been planned and put in place for you. So these are guidelines that you've been given. The work is up to you. The work is for you to do. So please make the effort, because it's the outcome that is the goal. That's the learning. In order to receive, you have to do. And so the learning is in the doing. But be surprised. Be surprised at what you will gain out of that learning. So we've come to almost the conclusion of this tutorial. And of course, the important thing on everyone's lips is the marketplace and questions. So this message here, feel free to post up questions on the blackboard. I am going to put up a blackboard for you to ask questions. I will review and respond to your questions into Thursday evening only. By the end of this week, you all should have a marketplace, or you should have marketplace plans, resources, and narratives ready to go. The summary should be written, or at least nearly finished, and more importantly, you are clear about what this document may be useful for in presenting the narrative to my peers on the day. So there are some do's and some don'ts. Let's start with the do's. Do work out a plan, then follow it carefully. Remember to ensure your presentation is engaging, informative, and fun. And upload the summary 24 hours before you present. That's a must. And last, do present your work like you're the king or queen of the castle. You're right every time, and you're sharing this with your friends. The don'ts: don't leave everything to the last minute, or you're sure to stress out, and we don't want you to stress. Don't expect to do well if you have not put in the effort, i.e. you haven't checked out the learning guide, you haven't asked your tutor questions about your ideas, and so on. Also, keep in mind, if your tutor is Liz or your tutor is Philip, ask them, because they are the ones that are going to mark your presentations, not me. Don't forget to incorporate 4 readings to ensure this marketplace presentation is scholarly. And last don't worry about a thing. You will do just fine. So let's do it for the marketplace. Okay, everyone, that's our online tutorial. As you will have seen, that these are guidelines. These are step-by-step guidelines for you to follow. The work is yours to do. Remember, as a university learner and as an adult learner, you are in control of what you learn. What you put in is what you get out. But you know, what a wonderful, wonderful week of learning for us. Learning from nature. Learning how we can embrace nature, because nature is so giving to all of us. So I want to close this online tutorial again by restating the quote that we started with. The earth laughs in flowers. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye.